What's up, everybody? Who That Comics?
Boston Chris.
Graphic content, man. We got another episode 8, man. This is actually, I'm actually excited about this episode, even though we don't even guess. Because we were talking backstage. I'm realizing we could be we did 30 minutes of the show and we didn't even have it live. Like, basically, because we were just going ham talking about everything. But first off, thank everybody who watches this on the rewind, because I noticed we get a lot of playback on the rewind. Thank you to anybody who's in the live, who's watching now. Shout out to this guy. We're probably gonna have him on next month. We couldn't touch base before the show, because I try to get in touch with people like hours before that we do the show to make sure everything's good with them, kind of let them know what we're talking about. I don't want people just to walk in not knowing. But that Spider-Man booth, Mr. JPG McFly, will be on the show. Gonna talk about his comic. Probably gonna talk about Spider-Man booth. Going to talk about whatnot, and probably get some insight on some other things. We can probably pick his mind on things, because we're gonna do a little twist on that. So he'll be on next month sometime. Also, probably in July. Well, yeah, June. Yeah, because next month's June. Yep. July, probably in July, and probably the beginning of July. We're gonna have. I would show like a little promo, but it's not. They don't have AdCon going on yet. But it's gonna be Elite Comics 11. Mr. Ali, the owner, guy who started Elite Comics 11, on here, and we're gonna talk a little bit of Elite Comics 11. When I say a little bit, because I want him to join the show and not feel like he has to sell anything. Elite Comics has over 35,000 followers. He didn't have to sell it. It's a good platform. It's a good brand. So we're going to have him on. He's going to talk a little bit about that, maybe what he has going on for us, like an AdCon, which is a virtual convention. And we're just going to talk about if they got some movie-related stuff, some news. Hopefully by July, they drop some Fantastic Four casting. I mean, we're literally like 2 years away when July hits from the movie supposed to come out. So hopefully by then we get some other stuff to talk about. But yeah, I want to have him on, my friend Ali, and talk about all kind of things. And maybe talk about, I think the Turtles movie should have been in and out by that time. I think it comes out in June, because they're showing a lot of trailers and stuff. So I'm not really sure about the date. So people who don't kill me because I don't know the Ninja Turtles movie date. A lot of the cartoon movies, I don't know the dates. I usually just go. I was like, oh, it came out. Let me go take my daughter. So when that comes out, hopefully that is out, and I had a chance to see it, and he can see it because he's a big turtle guy, and we can talk about that. So it's going to be fun to have Ali on, not just pitching Elite, which I love, and a lot of other people who used it love, but we can get the man behind his mind behind just selling books and or promoting stuff like that, and kind of get his insight on that. So that's what we got going on. I just want to let the people know ahead of time. I think that's about it. I don't think that's all the news we had, future guests. I think, and then I'm gonna try to work on Tim Lottie, the artist for Turtle Adventure, I think Adventure Cartoons. He's been super busy with because he's basically the main artist for that. I think he does like cover A and like the interiors. So if anybody knows like if you're not just doing covers, he's very busy because he's doing interiors as well. So I'm gonna work on him sometime this summer as well. So there's gonna be some good content. Not too graphically, but there's some good content coming with some good guests. It's gonna be fun, man. Be fun. So I'm excited for the next few months. But yeah, Chris. I don't know. You think I should go into my rant really quick and get that over with?
Yeah, I mean, why not? We got a reason to hear what's going on, just because you never know who else might be having the same issue.
All right, I actually left a comment on CGC's Instagram, which, if anybody knows, if you leave any kind of negative comment, they don't respond. But if you leave anything positive, they'll say something. So my issue with CGC is really with them just mainly using FedEx. So
yeah,
I don't know. Other people might have had good experiences with FedEx. I haven't had. I'll say my experience with FedEx is 50%, which is not good. You buy off of eBay, you're not buying it from who goes 50%.
Oh
You
no,
go to a restaurant, you're not going to a restaurant with the ratings 50%. You're not going to a movie with high hopes if it's 50%. So that's my, I hate to say it, my number with FedEx 50%. When I'm getting something from CG from them, it's either I'm going to get it on time or correct, or it's going to be delayed. The driver's not going to deliver, or in this case, the driver just doesn't deliver, and it gets sent to Mississippi. And if anybody knows, my name's Who That Comics. That means I'm in Louisiana. Uh, so uh, I understand there's a holiday weekend for FedEx, and you are backed up with shipping. I would rather you not put my stuff on the truck. If you can't deliver it that day, and I can pick it up from the warehouse, because I could have picked it up that whole day. Well, not a whole day Tuesday, but right after work. I could have picked it up from 1:30 to 8 p.m. when the lady said she worked there. So I had like 7 hours. I could have picked it up. But no, they take it on the truck. The guy drives around to at least 10 p.m. because he scanned it at 10:09 saying, "Oh, attempted delivery, blah, blah, blah." Just let him know nobody attempted to deliver at 10 p.m. That's him back at the warehouse scanning package that he didn't deliver. And so I called them up. The lady puts the notes in for me to have my package held, and left a note for when it comes into the warehouse. So it's digitally and physically for my package to be not loaded for the truck for the next day, to be taken off and put for held for me to pick up. I guess in some way they thought that meant send it to Mississippi. So I wake up, I'm gonna go to work. And I really don't check it because it should be held at the location. I don't need to check it. So I check it like at 8 something, just to make sure. I say, all right, just to make sure they didn't put it on the truck, and I can go pick it up at the warehouse. That's the only reason I checked the tracking. I checked the tracking. It says Olive Branch, Mississippi. I said, this can't be right. So I'm freaking out. I'm trying to call all of them people. If anybody dealt with FedEx, the customer service is terrible. It's not terrible because it's not terrible because of the people you talk to on the phone. It's terrible, like he said, it takes a long time. The automated system is crap. Automated system is crap because it wants to help you with and get you off the phone, but it doesn't want to help you. It doesn't really want to help you. I'm just saying like that.
No, it just basically wants to dump you.
Yeah, it wants to give you information that you already know. That's all it wants to do. And I'm like, I don't need this information. I need to talk to somebody because why is my package in Mississippi? So you gotta play with the automated system. If anybody ever dealt with this, I'm just letting you know. You gotta play with FedEx's automated system to finally get somebody from India to answer the phone, because that's what they're calling. That's what they. Sometimes you'll get one that accent is not too bad, but the lady who actually helped me, her accent was really thick, but she did help me. Like I said, they're helpful when you can get them. So they put an alert on it. So I guess whenever they put hands on it to get it sent back. So it doesn't get sent back. What is it? It doesn't get sent back. Like it doesn't get sent back until like 4:20 my time. 4:20. So it stayed in Mississippi from 7:30 to 4:20. So basically 4:30. All day. I looked up Olive Branch, Mississippi. So let me see how far Olive Branch, Mississippi is. Because I was thinking maybe it's only like a few miles away. Because Mississippi, if anybody knows, New Orleans, Mississippi is not too far. It's like about hour and a half. So I said I might make that drive. That's how I was thinking. Olive Branch is almost 6 hours away.
Yeah.
So it sat up there for all day to make the trip back. I call up the branch, the FedEx that I'm at, and they don't know what happened. The lady who picked up the phone. She actually is a friend of my family. So she's like, let me go talk to the driver's manager. And I guess she didn't get any. She don't know how it ended up going to Mississippi. She still has no clue. But another thing that FedEx, and I'm probably going to get off of this in a second, And another thing FedEx has that kind of sucks is the that UPS doesn't have. Like UPS has workers, but they work for UPS. If anybody knows how they're saying, like, the United States Postal Service have people that work for the post office. FedEx ground drivers predominantly are contracted workers.
Yeah.
So they don't really work for FedEx. They work for the guy who contracted them, and they don't have to answer the FedEx. They just have to answer for the guy who's their supervisor. So say they got 100 drivers, they could have 10 different supervisors with 10 different, 10 drivers. So they could have 10 supervisors for the 100 drivers.
Yeah.
And like I could be a supervisor and Chris could be a supervisor, but the driver that is in question is Johnny's supervisor. So we can't talk to him. We can't talk to him. That guy would have to talk to him. And guess what? They don't listen to those people because people are having a hard time to work anyway. Because the guy even told me on the phone, yeah, this is hard to get. I said, man, y'all need workers. I come work. I deliver package. I'd be happy as hell delivering packages if y'all pay well. He started laughing when I told the guy this is about another conversation I had. But yeah, FedEx, I don't know what deal CGC has with FedEx that you have to use them unless you have an account with one of these other places. And I think you have to pay for an account if I'm not mistaken. I know you do. I think for UPS you do.
Oh yeah, it's a service that you have to pay for.
Yeah, so you have to pay for a server UPS, and if you have to pay for UPS, I'm pretty sure you have to pay for the post office, the United States Postal Service, because you can use an account. You can use an account, but you got to have an account number, and then I think you have to set it up with them. I don't know how easy it is or how complicated they make it for you because they don't want you to use those other companies. They want you to use FedEx.
Yeah,
that's why they.
It's probably proprietary for money, because they must have like a contract with them, and it's like you can go to the other sites where you're paying extra money to keep that going, but that's not probably happening with the average, customer. Someone just randomly going ahead and sending off slabs. It would be somebody who has a business account. It's like, no, I want it to go this way so that I can, you know what I mean. So, and like you said, like I mean, as far as the fee or the charge for something like that, who knows? I mean, it's probably not cheap. It's probably a monthly fee over, that you would pay over the course of the whole year, and it's probably, I wouldn't say it's probably steep, but it's probably, something where you would have to have something to help sustain that so that you can do that, and keep that going. So, it's just I feel the same way. I think at this point, where they're the standard bearer. And they're the ones that, will say, like, we are the number one grading company and this and that. Well, you have to have options for your customers. Just because if FedEx isn't the best and easiest to work with, then, okay, well, why can't I go through UPS? Why can't I go through regular United States Postal Service? Like, why can't, you know what I mean? And I think that probably because that's who they have their
deal with
contract with. Yeah. And then on top of that, too, it's just like, shipping rates and everything might be a little different or whatever it is. I mean, there's definitely something built into that structure that makes it that they have to stick, or that they're going to stick with FedEx no matter what. So
yeah, and you know what else? And I'm gonna touch on CBCS and CGC. Then I'm gonna end it, and we'll talk about some good stuff because it's still frustrating. It's still frustrating because, all right, a lot of people talk about CBCS, and CBCS shipping is so much for getting the stuff and pay what you want to pay for. So you could use a lot of different ones through I think CBCS unless they changed it. But I used to pick FedEx shipping through CBCS, but I picked 2-day shipping. And 2-day shipping was actually express.
Yeah,
it was express. So the express side is actually a person who works for FedEx. But to touch more base about the express through CBCS, say use FedEx Ground, it might be $25. FedEx 2-day would be like $45.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't mind paying an extra $20 to know I got a real worker. And and not just that, I have a rapport with the guy who works there because he works for FedEx, and I know that worker. The contract guy could be anybody. Like one day I could it'd be me driving it, then it could be Chris, then it could be Johnny, then I could do it again. So it's not the same people. So But to go back on that, they have a better pricing. But guess what? CGC gives you two options: the 20 or the $25, whatever it is, the ground, or you can get the express, but it's 120. They
Yeah,
charge an extra $100 when CBCS for the 2 day will charge $10 or $20 more.
yeah,
I always use the faster one with CBCS because I'm like, shoot, I can get my books in like 2 days, and it's only $20 more, not $100 more.
yeah. Well, and that's the toughest part about it, just because see, I never thought about it like that, and really, it's kind of a crazy situation where they're using contract. Anything that uses contractors, automatically the service can go either way. I mean, for the most part, you hope for the best. I used to have a job where I was a concierge, so I've seen a lot of that stuff, and people would be getting packages delivered, and you could tell when it was the regular people that worked there, it was perfectly fine. But then when things started ramping up, like around Christmas time, they just hire a lot of just random people. So and they'll contract out to random people, and that's when things would get crazy. And you'd have to try to call people and be like, listen, this didn't get delivered right, or something happened. Like one of the residents in my building's freaking out about this. I need to know like where you put this, just because there would be stuff that gets delivered to an apartment building down the street. And it's like, well, this is their stuff. Like their bedroom set should not be down the street. It has to be here. Like how you need to get somebody to come and bring that back. And then like, you're gonna talk to the office. And I'm like, oh God. So it can end up being a nightmare sometimes when you have stuff like that. So, but to charge $100 for the service is I mean, that seems to me that, all right. I mean, if you and again, I don't know what their deal is, but if you're gonna do it like that, it's like, oh, so it's $100 extra for this service. It seems to me like CDC is pocketing a little bit of that money, trying to recoup some costs that are going out the door, which is kind of shady if you ask me. But that's the way it is.
And not just if you're going to use FedEx, FedEx has multiple different shipping methods. So I
Mhm.
don't like okay, like, but you're only giving me two options: give me the slowest route,
Yep.
or you're giving me the extremest fastest, which is $100 more than the slowest route. Like they have
Yeah.
other ones, and the only reason I know that because I've seen it through CBCS. So it's like it's frustrating knowing that CGC is not helpful. Like, and a lot of people are say, "Why you didn't call CGC?" Like, what are they gonna do? It
Yeah.
can't do nothing. I already paid the shipping to them. They pay for the shipping. It's not like they're gonna give me money back. They're
No.
not for my time and my delay and for what all the mess ups. They're gonna say that they're gonna just basically say, "Oh, you still got your books though." That's all they're gonna say.
Exactly.
Hopefully I get because they left Mississippi. Just to give people an update. They did leave Mississippi. Still not in Louisiana yet. They'll probably be here in the morning. But but that say what makes me so mad, and then we're gonna talk about con talk, budgeting, and stuff like that, and collecting. It's like what if I'd have took off of work? Well, what if you could have took, because a lot of times when they do these, all right, we're gonna be here because they did give me a time frame from 10 o'clock to like 1:30. So what if I said, oh, you know what? I'll take a half a day. Oh, I'll take a whole day. And I'm just waiting. And I'm waiting. 4 o'clock comes, which I know their hours or how they work, how they handle it. I don't never get anything from FedEx past 4 o'clock. Never.
Yeah.
And once it gets to that time frame, I'm going to pick it up at the shop, at the warehouse. So when I saw that time, like when I get the time frame and you have to wait, you waste your time, waste your day, whatever you had to get done. Luckily I didn't do that, but I could have wasted a whole day for them not to deliver it and to send it to damn Mississippi where I couldn't even pick it up the next day. So like I could have been out of time, So that's why it's like, all right, CGC, I paid you $20 or $25. Give me $25 credit because I wasted a day.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even do that. You already know how CGC works. They wouldn't even do that. So
yeah. I mean,
but as here and there, hopefully tomorrow I can give good news and unbox the books and show you guys what Dustin did with some of the work. So we'll see. But I just had to get that off my chest. It feels a little bit better talking about it, but it's like still don't. Hopefully they didn't throw my box around, sending to Mississippi. So we'll see. But we'll talk about some movie news, some collecting. Well, quick movie news, Chris. Did you see
Mhm.
they announced the live action Miles is in the works?
So I didn't see that yet. Like, I actually didn't see that information at this point. But I mean, it's one of those things where as much as you would think, wow, it's really early for Miles and everything else, this is like, you know what? It is to an extent, but you got to strike with the irons hot type situation. And you know what? It makes sense just because of the fact that you know Tom Holland being Spider-Man, how long, you don't know how long he's going to want to keep doing that. And if you can get Miles in there, of course you want to get Miles in there just because you get other Spider characters, you can go different directions. And then maybe
Mm.
people don't get as fatigued with saying, oh, well, I wish that, like how many more, Peter Parker Spider-Man movies we're going to see. So that's really cool news. And I have to think that, getting Miles in the works, having it, start out, is going to be cool. You might be able to get some other characters, Spider Gwen, maybe Silk, whoever, down the road. You never know, but it's really good that they're going to do that. I think as far as being a character, being around as long as he has, just because as much as he's still new, he's been around for
Yeah,
a while.
yeah, he's only
He's
been
not
around
new.
like 12 years actually. Like
Yeah,
yeah, it's not like he's been around a little while, but it's not like he's been around 20 plus years,
yeah,
which yeah, so it's kind of interesting that they say it's in the works or they're working on it. I think that it's probably super pre-production, but they did
oh yeah,
the lady who produced the a lot of the Sony stuff. Produced the Spider-Man. I think was it Enter the Spider-Verse or along
yeah,
the Spider-Verse, all these Spider-Verse stuff. But she said they're working on it, and she also announced Julian Carpenter's Spider-Woman is
yeah,
she's gonna have a movie, but it's gonna be cartoon. So they're doing an animated movie
yeah.
for her character.
Which that makes sense, just because I mean, like when it comes to Spider Woman, you have Jessica Drew, who's the original Spider Woman, and then you have Julia Carpenter, who came in during Secret Wars. So, and really, like the tough part with that is that a lot of people, definitely new people, don't have any idea who Julia Carpenter is. I mean, she was 80s and very early 90s, and then kind of faded away. I mean, she was in that Avengers, I think it's the West Coast Avengers cartoon that lasted about maybe 2 seasons. So it wasn't like you got a lot of exposure to her. But it is cool that they're gonna bring her on. She has a black suit just like Spider Man, but it's not a symbiote. um, you know, it's cool to have just different, a different Spider Woman or just a different Spider Man female character out there, just because there hasn't, she would, outside of the Spider Verse movies, be the first female, Spider Man character that's, gonna be out and have her own thing. So that's
Yeah,
pretty
have
cool.
one thing outside of Spider-Man. Yeah, without Miles is a help. People would say. Um, what if they and then we could talk about some collectors. So what if they do? Because you said she is in Secret Wars, which I already knew that.
Yes.
They're doing a Secret Wars movie. What if
Yep.
they do the cartoon version and she gets sucked into Secret Wars?
Oh, that'd be
But she
crazy.
comes like she comes live action into Secret Wars. But what if something happens, they make that movie end, and it's just a
Mm.
plot to get her sucked into Secret Wars. I mean, I'm game for it because Secret Wars, I think, is going to be like Endgame, and you're going to have everybody.
Yeah. I think I mean, that'd be cool. And like, so because I guess the speculation of the story, or whoever has like whoever claims to have, I guess, a little bit of knowledge on this, keeps on saying that's going to be the 2015 Secret Wars. But the thing about that is that everything kind of got pushed together, and
Mhm.
and turned into a big battle world. So you could absolutely bring her from that cartoon world into live action, just because the battle world is basically just like a bunch of different worlds all kind of mashed together. So that
Mhm.
100% could happen.
And
And
and you know how Marvel does it? They usually don't just take from one uh, side of stuff. Usually
no,
take a little bit from here, a little bit from there, and then my people might like a lot of people are saying that Secret Wars 2 is going to be kind of what the movie is going to be more based on, but it might be the villain that is based on, or that's doing all the thing. Everything
yeah,
else might be from the regular Secret Wars. So it might be I think it's gonna be a mashup of both of those storylines. Knowing Kevin Feige and how he loves the comic history, I think he's gonna mash it up because there's good stuff from both storylines. So I'm kind of interested to see how it's gonna play out. But yeah, that was some big news that kind of just got dropped by the producer. I don't know if she was supposed to say that stuff, but hey, it's out there now. It's out there now. Everybody's gonna be fan casting for Miles.
Well, you know what happens is that a lot of times, like I like when they do that type of stuff because they're like, oh, yeah, like you weren't supposed. Oh no, you shouldn't. You know what I mean? Because they always want to give you like a little bit of a hint, like, oh yeah, no, go ahead and say something, and then because people, like you said, they start fan casting, freaking out, figure out who can be it. Oh, because I remember when Stranger Things first came out, like, oh, dude from Stranger Things can be it. He can definitely be, he can definitely be the guy. And then it's like, oh no, you know who would actually be, cool in that role is the kid, I forget his name now. But the kid from Cobra Kai, the young kid that came in later on in like season was it 4 or whatever. Like, oh yeah, he can be a good Miles. So it's just like everybody has their like, oh, it could be this guy, it could be that guy, it could be this, and it's just
whoever it is or whoever it's going to be, because we're years down the line. When I say years, we're probably like 4 to 5 years down the line.
Yep.
It's not going to be any one of the people he named or anybody we're thinking about because it's got to be somebody younger. It's be somebody younger because a lot of people wanted the kid from Stranger Things to be it. And I seen a bit. He just did an interview. He's a Rick Ross. He's a Ross.
Oh yeah, no, he's grown now. Yeah,
he's a beard. He looks old he looks old. So it's like I was like, I know when he shaves, he looks young, but man, no, that once you start growing that stuff, like how I hate to say it, how good his beard looks. You look old. So he looks super old doing that interview. The kid that you were talking about, by the time they get all this situated, he's gonna hit puberty hard, probably.
Oh yeah, no, he's gonna be too old for that too. It's gonna be someone.
It's gonna be an unknown. It's gonna be an unknown, and then because you know who said Lady Fantastic said better not be what's his name Jaden Smith. And I was like, Jaden way too old. He's way too old. He's way too old. It's not that way. I'm not even worried about him acting. Is that he's too old, so we don't have to even put him in the bubble.
Now, if they were ever to do like any, and I'm sure that like this is going to take place after the whole multiverse stuff. So I don't think that you'll get multiple Miles Moraleses or anything like that. But if they did do something like that, then you can kind of call on one of the older guys to be an older Miles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I mean? But they probably won't do that at that point. But
now I could have seen Will Smith play his dad in a live action movie, but I don't know. Maybe by that time, Will Smith, all that stuff would be kind of people long forgotten.
Maybe.
But I mean, because the cartoon character looks like a little thicker Will Smith. I mean, if you just really think about it. But give
it to Chris Rock just out of spite, like
when you go out there, Miles, don't let nobody slap you.
Yeah, exactly.
But so that was some news. It was kind of interesting, but so next thing, what's up, K-pop? I forgot to say hello to you. I saw you the whole time, and I kind of like waved, and I don't even know, but I know you're probably still here hanging out, but appreciate everybody coming through. So collecting on a budget at cons more because it's just a whole bunch of stuff we're not going to be able to touch on, or how you budget. Well, I said collecting on a budget at cons. And budgeting for cons, because it's two different things. It's two different things. I could talk about the budgeting for a con. Well, we probably both can talk about budgeting for a con because we kind of know what we want to do and how much But it's collecting on a budget is I don't know how to talk about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it kind of goes one and the same. Like I can say that when you look at these con, the list of people that's going to be there and how it's going to go, I mean, like some people will celebrate. I mean, everybody celebrates. Like, oh, we got this guy coming. Like on Bleaker's show, I went ahead and I listed off just the people that are going to go to Terrificon, and it's a crazy list of just all these great comic creators and everything like that. And then if you like celebrities, I mean the celebrities they have are pretty crazy too. It's just like, and they just actually was it for Boston? No, was it no for Terrificon? They actually just announced Rebecca Romaine is going to be there too. So I'm like, you're gonna be kidding me? Rebecca Romaine's going to be there now too. It's just like it's just such a crazy list, and it's just like, so you think about that, and it's like, all right, well, I want to go and get books signed, and maybe send some stuff off to get graded, and then it's just like you start looking at, all right, so how many am I getting signed with it, and then when you start thinking about, because I was never really a big celebrity signature person, but there are some people that like, if they're coming through, I would like to meet them, and I like to get a signature on some stuff because it's like, when are they going to come back? You know what I mean? So it's just like that is kind of a thing that I'm looking at where it's just like, oh, it's tough to budget because now it's just like, well, I can look at it in the way of that I want to get some stuff signed. I want to get some stuff sent out to signed and slabbed. And then I also have another convention that's coming up, the week after. So that makes it even tougher. So it's just like, where last year I got some, sketches done. I'm probably not going to be able to do that this year just because it's going to be, between, getting stuff graded, getting stuff signed, paying the fees for the signatures and everything like that. There's no way. And on top of that, so as far as my top list goes, stuff I'm collecting, I have to kind of figure that in too, because it's like, okay, well, is it the best time to buy now, or is it, what outweighs what? So that's really where you have to come down to with a lot of things, and then being responsible with money, just because just because this convention is loaded with talent and just great people you want to see, that doesn't mean you should sit there and just
some people like I call it like this. Some, like you could say to Jericho, some people are just not going to be on the list. Some people you just got to avoid so you don't put them on the list. Because I honestly want to meet a lot of the celebrities at Dallas. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't know about stuff, but I mean, like, dude, John Berthold, I'm gonna meet him because Yahweh Sean, me, Yahweh, and Tony Sanders is gonna be there. So we already talked about he talked about John Berthold, and I think also Tony Sanders was talking about it. So I was like, man, I got to get something so I can go with the guys in the line and go meet Berthold. So I ended up finding something, which is great, but he wasn't on my initial list. He wasn't.
No,
because I have I met him before? I don't actually. I think I just met him saying hello when he came to New Orleans, but I never got anything signed. So I was like, all right, So, and he's charging reasonable. Like some of these celebrities could be charging way more. He's not even charging $100. What's up, Kenneth? Kenneth, what's up, Kenneth? But so he wasn't initially on my plan. But Zachary Levi, who plays Shazam, he was on my list. I should get 3 things signed. Since he canceled, that saved me like almost $400. So that was a plus, but it's gonna minus because I'm getting John Berthold, and then I decided to get another thing signed by the Clone Wars group. So it's like it's like when you're budgeting, which is good for the celebrities. Not so much for the comic artists because you don't know, but the celebrities you can budget how much you're going to spend. This person charging 100, this person about 80, blah blah blah. You can budget that, but the comic artist is like almost like the curveball in the group because, like he said, all the stuff I'm getting signed, if I'm getting signed, I want to get a slab. That's another fee, but luckily that fee's later once they receive the stuff. And if you know the game with CGC. You have time to pay it. If you don't know none of your account, you do have time to pay it. It's a little thing I figured out. Like if you don't pay it once it received, go through the grading, and it's encased, they put it in a safe, and they send you an email, and then you can actually pay at that point. Just give a little heads up inside on that.
Yeah.
But so that I'm not really worried about that fee, but it's the comic artist that I don't know. Like Art Germ, what does he charge for a signature to get it slabbed? I don't know. In Huck Lee, who doesn't come to the States a lot. He comes to the big shows, but he didn't come to. It's like he didn't go to a lot of. I don't know if he came to the South because I kind of consider Dallas the South. Um, so because I want to get 3 things signed by him in Slab.
Yeah.
A couple of them I'm going to keep. One I'm probably going to try to sell to recoup some money, but and I'm just telling you how I do it to kind of help fund this whole thing. But I don't know what he's charging. So it's like those artists, Mark Silvestri. I don't know what they're charging. So it's gonna because they all, what I've noticed, all of them charge if you're getting it slab.
Yeah.
And I've only met actually one that didn't charge if he wasn't getting his slab, and that was Greg Lang.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of, yeah. I mean it's a tough one, and then you have other people. So I think what I might end up running into, which I think is kind of strange, because there's plenty of Chris Claremont signed books out there that are CGC yellow label, and but I think he doesn't like to do. He's like, I don't do witnessing, which is like that can't be true, because I've seen plenty of people getting signed books by you. I remember meeting him a couple of years ago. He's like, I don't do that. Well, you're gonna have to do it today, just because I'm paying you money to see this. So I want you to, take care of this. But, that really is another thing I would say too, is this like, not to say choose comic artists over celebrities or vice versa. I mean, I generally tend to do the if I go to a convention, I'm there for the comic artists. So I usually don't do any kind of celebrities. I think I've kind of started to go that way a little bit, but not for everything. It's like, it's only specific people. I'm like, yes, I want to get this signed by these people here. But the thing is just that, the other thing I would say, as far as on for if you're going to be budgeting, is look at, if you have a bunch of different cons in your area, look to see what shows throughout the year are happening, and then just base it off of that. Just be, okay, look, so in May, the show that I went to in April, it was like, Joe Jesco's going to be there. So I was like, all right, cool, Joe Jesco's here. But if I missed him there, then I can also see him, and I can go ahead and see him at Terrificon if I had to. So I was like, oh, cool, I can get something from him from Terrificon. If it's something where you're gonna end up like it's like, there's a convention in April, then Terrificon's in July, Boston Fan Expo is in August, and then the last show I usually end up going to is the Rhode Island Comic Con. So it's like, whoever I don't get a chance to see in any of those ones, if they go into Rhode Island, it's like, all right, well then I'll just hold off on them, and then kind of pick that up later, just because like, it's really tough. Like for me, Terrificon is tough just because I only do the one day, just because to stay. Right. Okay. So for me to stay at the Mohegan Sun is expensive. It's a very nice hotel. It's a very expensive hotel, and of course, because it's Terrificon weekend, they do charge a little bit of a premium to stay there. So I usually will go just the first day and try to get everything done that day, and it's a very, very tough task to do, just because it's a lot of books and it's a lot of time, and just kind of trying to get everything all in once. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. So, I would love to. So Matt Sight says, I know it's tough, but you need to stay the weekend. You have no idea how badly I'd want to stay the weekend, just because of the fact of how much easier it is getting everything together. Spacing a convention out over 3 days versus one is huge. It's just like good for your sanity. And yeah, just like Matt is saying, Friday signatures, Saturday short box diving, Sunday hangover digging, which is kind of funny, just because like with it being in my neck of the woods. So you need to find a buddy to couch crash. The fun part with that is that everybody who would be in and around that area is at the show. So it's just like, and they get the hotels, but it's just like, what's fun about that show specifically is that it's just everybody from all over the place, where it's like, you have, guys from New York. So like New York Warriors, Pressable Defects, 3 men in a basement come up. I mean, they live in Connecticut, so it's like, they just drive down the road and get there. Then it's like me, Amazing Marfinator and a few other guys coming from Massachusetts. So it's just like, just basically just everyone descends in this one spot and has a great, great time. And it's just like, there's just so many people all there at once. So to do the whole weekend for me would be incredible, just because it's not even just, just a convention activities. It's like, just hanging out after, you know what I mean? Just kind of go to the show, hang out with these guys, and then just have a good time. And then, that's Friday night. And then, Saturday night? We're going to get into more of this nuts stuff. Yeah, it's going to be fun. So that's always just the way. The trouble that happens though with that is that you gotta plan and budget for it, just because you're dropping a bunch of money on a hotel. You have to eat when you're there. You have to keep money for books to get signed and everything else while you're there. And then at the end of it all, it's just like it's a very, very, very expensive weekend if you're doing it in that way. But if you're gonna do it that way, then you kind of have to look at it where it's just like, all right, if there's one show I do all year and I want to do it up well, like if I ever wanted to really do it up, I would have to say, okay, the one show I'm going to for the whole year has to be, Terrificon, and that is right too. Matt's talking about, you go into the casino because there's a casino there, you can gamble on top of that, so maybe you hit for millions, or maybe you go home and even more debt. You never know. But it is. I mean, it's a great time, and I've only been there just for the one day, and it's always a great time. Everybody's just having everyone's happy to see each other. Everyone's just kind of hanging out and doing their thing. So, but that's the thing, is it's like, for a big show like that, it's an expense. It really, I mean, and who I can definitely talk about Dallas. I mean, he's just, going for the first time, going all the way out there. So he's, you got to have a plane, to get him over there, then pay for the hotel and, food and everything else, and all whatever other festivities. And, just Fan Expo con activities too. So it's going to be a tough one there. I will be there. I will be there on Friday. So, you just, maybe I wear my Thor shirt so everyone can, see that's me, but, I generally have a good time doing all that type of stuff. And I think that, when it comes to that type of show, how do I mean, everybody's cash flow will dictate what you do and how you do it, but it's just one of those things where I think that it can be something that a lot of times you gotta really think about. So sometimes less is more. Like, you get a couple of different things signed and then hang back, and then if you're getting stuff slabbed and signed, you got to bring less with you, just because in the end you're gonna hopefully get some good books coming back. So it's a little bit more of an expense, but you never know. Let's see. Got Lady Fantastic coming in. Who that's going to be right back. Let's see. Lady Fantastic was. I had to wait for Who that to come back and see that. He's just kind of dealing, doing dad duty right now. So then, what signatures do you go for at a con? So another instance, what do I go for at a con? Look at books. I will. Last year, I actually went down the rabbit hole of getting some sketches, which was really, really fun. Had a great time doing that. But that's pretty much been it. And then, of course, books. If there's good deals on books, I will definitely go ahead and see what I can get or talk to people, try to figure it out. Last year, I tried to make a trade, which that just drove me nuts, just because I went ahead and the guy had said to me what he was looking for, what he wanted, and he basically said he wanted first appearances in good shape. So I went ahead and I got up pretty much all the doubles of first appearances that I had, and I brought them to him, and I wanted to get a first Kingpin. And he was just like, he wanted 1,200 for it at the time, and he was just like, okay, what do you want to do? And I said this, and he's like,
I remember this deal because you talked to me about it, I think, before you presented it to him, and I said,
yep.
That's actually a good deal. And,
well, exactly.
and I wasn't just saying this because this is one of my friends, guys. I was like, when he presented the deal to me, I put on my like dealer / seller's hat, and at the time, it was harder to sell that bigger book than a bunch of those smaller books that were $200 books. And
Yeah.
he could have sold those hand over fist easily.
Oh yeah, I gave the
So
guy. So the
I
guy had
thought the
about
deal
3 grand,
was fair.
and it was shifted more in his favor just
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I gave him about
value.
$3,000 worth of books. I was like, I just want that, and he was just like, he's like, well, I don't know about this, and started saying like, would you be interested in money? I said, yeah. And he's like, um, you know, he's like, well, how much were you thinking? I was like, well, probably about 3 grand worth of books here. Give me half the. I was like, so I was thinking about half the value. He's like, all right, so what, 1,500? I was like, well, yes, but not quite in the way that you're thinking. I said, give me that book right there and $300. We'll call it even. He was like, no, it's my only one. I can't do that. I don't know. And I'm like, you came here to sell it. I was like, I'm offering you a trade. And he's like, well, yeah, but I mean, I got to think about my wall and what I'm doing. I was like, I'm restocking your whole wall for you. I was like, you're going to the show next week, right? I was like, there you go. You got all your stuff ready to go right there. Yeah, but we got to look at them all and make sure. I'm like, look, man. I was like, do you want this or not? Because I was like, I mean, I brought this book. I'm hurting my back. I mean, I brought like all these books. I was like, my back is starting to get heavy. I was like, I was hoping to just, unload all this stuff today, come back with one book instead of having, I think it was like 25. I was like, dude, come on, man. And he was just like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, okay, well.
At the end of the day, I think he didn't really want to sell that book. I think that
Nah,
was
he
just to
wanted
show.
money, is what it was.
Well, he wanted money, but he really didn't want to get rid of that book. Let's be honest. If you're giving somebody $3,000 worth of comics for one book, and the book's at $1,200, and then you're just like, hey, just give me $300 cash, you basically still getting $3,000 worth of books.
Yeah.
He really didn't want to sell. Let's be honest, because that's basically $3,000. He's getting over $1,500 in extra value. See, he really didn't want to sell it. I think if somebody would have came with $1,200 cash, he'd probably be like, it's not for sale. And
Well, yeah, it's funny too because it's like a lot of that like. So some of those books I ended up selling on the Sands auction last year and everything, and it was just like, this is why. So it's like, oh, like amongst those things that I know people went ahead and sold for more, or went ahead and got, they bought from me, then would go ahead and grade them. Discovery Bay, I would sit. I'm not mad at the Discovery Bay is cool as hell, and I'm happy that they came back actually in high grade, because like I take pride on that. If they come out high grade and they do well, that's good. But like, the One Punch Man that he got, that was from me. And then when it came back at 90, I was like, I told you. I was like, I knew this was going to come back high grade. I was like, that's how.
And if I knew I was going to the convention where the guy who plays the One Punch Man and a lot of these other characters in that book as well were there, I would have bought the book. I would have traded, because Chris loves trading for books he doesn't have. I would have just traded for them. But it's the con, like so I've been budgeting for the convention for signatures, because somebody was like, signatures, what do you other than signatures I'm going to hang out with my family. My family's coming Friday, so I'm gonna get to hang out with my wife and daughter and Yahweh and Tony, but I'll really get to hang out with them on Saturday. So that is and it's like a vacation. It's basically a vacation, and I'm gonna go look at some books. Probably not gonna buy any books because I want to get all these signatures done. I can buy books at better deals on, basically, if I just turn on my phone with the IG claim sale. There's a couple of people that's selling, and me and Chris not on there watching because we're here. So I'm not really there. Like the last time I bought some books, I really didn't buy. I kind of did buy it, but it was like a trade cash deal. It was like way before the pandemic when I got my TMNT one. But that was when prices were low, I guess you could say now. So I haven't gone to a convention, but I don't go to many, so I'm not going to answer that. But because I haven't been to one of those conventions that people say it's a real comic convention. So for me, I don't go to these fan expos. I would say it like that to buy comics. I go there to get some signatures from some dope artists that I'm probably never going to meet. unless I do a lot more cons. And even if I did a lot more cons, there's no guarantee they go to that one.
No.
So going to meet Art Germ, Miko Suyan, In-Hook Lee, who's from another country. I think the other
Yep.
two maybe are from another country, but I think
Yeah.
I think Miku lives in the U.S. I'm not sure how all that works, but a lot of these guys, what I'm trying to say is, it's not like I'm going to meet Donnie Cates and James Tinney.
Yeah.
I think they show up to a lot, but so
The
it's
thing
kind
I
of
would
cool.
say, the thing that I say is that yeah, I mean, because sometimes you
What's
do
up,
get
Chef?
good deals on books, and you can get some good things, and then again sometimes things are way overpriced and you're not gonna get them. I'll tell you one thing I did, just because I was like, oh, like I said, I went down a rabbit hole and I was like, oh, let me get some sketch covers and this and that, sketch covers to done and everything like that, and I was like, there's always booths that have these things, and you got to look for the ones that are just like, oh, and the tip that I can give to you is that some of them will sell them. So I mean, this is just a sample. Like, this is like the smallest sample of sketch. I went crazy getting those things because at one point, there was one booth that was like, all right, $5 a book, da da da. Okay, get like one or two. Then I'm like, all right, well, this kind of I don't really see this. All yeah, I'll pay $5 for that. Next day, we'll do 2 for $5 or whatever like that. All right, get some more books. Sunday, $1 a book, doesn't matter. Oh, I cleaned up on that shit. I could not wait. I was like, $1 per sketch cover? Absolutely. I was like, I'll take all these stupid sketch covers, like all the different types, and it's just because it's just like one of those things where all right. So I paid at one point it was like I paid $25, but it's like I'm getting 25 sketch covers for $25. Like that was tremendous because it's like all right,
Mm-hmm.
now I can just whenever I have a time to do it or whenever I feel like it, if somebody's coming to a shop or whatever, it's like I'll do a remark or I'll do a head sketch, whatever. I was like, all right, would you like to do this? So it's just like one of those things where that's kind of somewhere else that I went with. It was like, oh, like this is kind of fun to do. Like if there's no good deals, look for sketch covers and just see like if you can get something for cheap.
Yeah, the other thing, and I agree, Matt. We definitely so we kind of talking about budgeting and stuff. But I do the other route. I use a sketchbook, which
Yes.
either or is has their own benefits. The reason why I say either or because sketch covers are great if you're trying to get multiple done at the same day. If you got a sketchbook, you basically only could get maybe I'll say max 3 done because it's 3 days or 4 days. Let's just say max 3. But yeah, it's sketch. Let me blow that up, man.
Oh yeah.
Show that again. There you go. See,
Yeah.
like
So
sketch. That's
Adrian
like
Emerald.
sketch, but I don't want to grab mine. Mine's like in the
Yeah.
back, but
So these
sketch.
are and then
You can get them from Michaels. You can get them from art stores, art studios, or little art
yeah.
stores.
So that nice snake eyes.
So yeah, like but I ain't gonna lie, I don't think I'm gonna because I'm gonna bring my sketchbook. I'm gonna say I'm not I'm gonna bring it, but I don't have plans of getting the sketch done unless it's like the person is under $100.
Yes.
Because
They are jumping up in
yeah,
price.
yeah, and I don't. I've gotten some good work, and I started late. Chris has gotten a lot of stuff done, and he's paid way less than me. But I started late, and I still never paid over. I paid $100 for one thing, and I haven't paid over $100. Usually, it's around 80 to 60, which I'm fine with. But I'm gonna bring my schedule, but I don't have plans to get it done unless I might get one artist to do something Friday and pick it up Saturday.
Like I paid
Yeah.
$125 for that from Joe Rubenstein because he kind of commands a premium. But I mean that's the most expensive one I've done. I haven't paid anything.
And I don't know how much he is now because he's going to be at Dallas. I only have one book. I only have one book I want to sign for him, which is the Wolverine one the limited series.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to get that signed and graded. But if he's $120, I don't mind. So we'll see what the price. Because like you said, everybody's going up. I don't mind getting something like that because it's a lot of detail and it's really good.
Yeah.
$120, but that would probably be my only person. I hate to say it. It'd be like him at $120, or I can see if I can get two people at 60. you know.
Oh,
So
I agree. I agree 100% because there is a sketch and there's a sketch group that I follow on Facebook. It's like a signature and sketch group, so they have a lot of different prices and stuff like that. Well, they'll show what people are charging, and that's why I get my information. Was like, oh man, like some of those like. I was looking at a few of them, and it's just like, I mean, some people just out of control just because that's who they are. But then there's other people who just, were affordable last year that now are charging like $200 for like a little remark about this big. It's like, dude, that's crazy. I mean, and I understand, just because from where they come from or what they think is that secondary market, you're gonna try and sell this. What are you trying to do? And it's just like, I don't think a lot of people really get that. Yeah, there's going to be people who are going to try to sell those signatures or sell the sketches and stuff like that. But the thing is that like usually, for something like that, it's personalized. It's not something. I mean, even though maybe it's not like to this one, but it's almost like what do you want on this? I always tell them like I want this. I'm not doing it to sell it. I want it because it looks cool. Like my favorite one, I think.
That's why I love the sketchbook, because like if you give them a sketchbook, you should know I'm not trying to scalp my whole sketchbook. Plus, it's not even fulfilled yet.
This is a theme I'm going to continue on the nonstop Spider-Man. I get 5 more of these, and I'm getting the original Sinister Six, Simpsonized. That's what I'm going to do, just because it was like this was fucking fun. Like as soon as I saw this, like when it came the next day to get it, I was like, oh my god, this is incredible. Like this was such a fun thing to get done, and it wasn't something that was expensive. It was just a really really good job done, and I was just like, I want to get the rest of them like that. So it's just like I said, it's for me, for my own collection of just having sketch covers. Do I want to get them signed? I'm sorry, do I want to get them able to be able to sell at some point? Probably not, just because it's my art. Like this is what I went to the show to get.
And I can kind of touch on the selling aspect, because I've seen people try. If you get a sketch cover, even if you end up getting it graded, they're hard to sell because, like he said, they basically are personalized. It's what you wanted. It's not what that person who's buying. You have to really, that person who's buying it really has to want what you have, and so that's why he means by personalized. It's hard to sell a sketch cover done by an artist, because that's not what the person you're selling to maybe wanted, or the pose they wanted, the character they wanted. They might not like the character. They might not like the artist. It's a lot of different things. Shout out to the channel member, He Who Remains. What's up, He Who Remains? Appreciate you stopping through. Make sure y'all smash up that thumbs up button, man. But yeah, so I like the idea of it. I just wish, like you said, they were a little bit more affordable, because I'm not selling a sketch cover if it's a sketch. I'm not selling my sketchbook. A remark I can kind of understand, maybe charging a premium for if they're getting it graded, like a book graded and they have a remark. That's a different, but a lot of those other things are hard to sell, man. I've seen it. I've noticed it. It's I don't know. It's a different market, and a lot of people don't want that.
I mean, I'm sure if I really wanted to, like, I could get, I could sell that Craven.
You probably could sell that Simpsons one. I know you could sell that because that's
just because
that's Simpsons.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the thing is just that, like, for me, like the way, like when I went to him, I was, because it was somebody that does Simpson art. Didn't work. I mean, it wasn't necessarily a local guy, but he's someone that just works, and that's what he does. And I was just like, like, this looks really fun. Would you mind doing this? And he's like, oh yeah, it's like, that sounds fun. I'm like, all right, cool. So what I'm gonna do next time is find another person that likes to do Simpsons art, and like, whether it's local or not, and like, hey, can you do a Simpsonized version of the Vulture, or can you do Simpsonized Lizard or whoever? It's just like, and it's just like, that's what I'm gonna do on those covers. Like, I'm gonna try to see however many of those I'm definitely gonna do the original Sinister Six, and then from there, who knows what else I'll get on there, just because it's just like fun to have. So
you got that type of stuff, and that all comes down to budgeting. You got to budget. You got to know what you're gonna spend. Like I know you said something about hotel. You got to do that.
Oh yeah.
Travel, like, are you driving there? Are you flying there? Like, we're flying to Dallas, so that limits on what I can bring. So it's food. I got to worry about food expenses. It's a whole bunch of
Yep.
stuff that adds up. That's on top of what you're going to spend, and you just got to be, ready and willing, and you got to have cash.
Yep.
You got to have cash. Like getting a lot of signatures, you got to have cash.
Definitely.
Yeah. So,
And to answer
cash is
Lady
king.
Fantastic, I just want not to cut you off, but to answer Lady Fantastic, have I gotten any cool books lately? Yes. But seeing as how Friday is so close, I can't give away industry secrets. But yes, I've gotten some amazing stuff.
But Chef says he got a question. Just curious, if Brian Randall Hugh Jackson was signing, how much are you willing to pay? Nothing.
I mean,
not 1,000 because that's what he put first.
If they're doing
I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna check on her.
If they're doing a signing together, there is probably one book that I would have them both sign at the same time. So that would end up demanding that kind of price, I guess. I don't know if I'd be comfortable giving $1,000 for both their signatures. But I mean, then again, it's just like, it is Hugh Jackman, it is Ryan Reynolds. So it's gonna be something that's really expensive to get done. But that Wolverine, I think it's 155, the one where it's where you can see the Hulk 340 homage, where it's just like Wolverine's face is in the sword. That is the one book I would get signed by the both of them, just because I wouldn't get a New Mutants 98 signed by Ryan Reynolds. I just don't find that to be, as much as everyone will say, well, I mean, he's Deadpool, you gotta have Deadpool sign the book. No, I don't think so. I think when it comes to that book, I would rather have Liefeld. As much as people are like, Liefeld, really? Like, yeah, he's Liefeld, Fabian Nicieza. I would definitely have those two on that book more so than Ryan Reynolds. But the Wolverine or the Wolverine 88, that's the other one too, where Deadpool has him up like this. That one I would get signed by. That's I think the two books I would get signed by those two specifically, because it's both of them, it's both of the actors, pretty much both characters on that cover. Absolutely, I would get those two. But I wouldn't pay $1,000 though. I would hope not to have to pay that much. If it was $1,000, I'd probably say no, I'm not doing that. I think my threshold, and it's probably too low when I think about it, but it'd probably be 600 tops. Like if they're doing 300 a piece, I can do that. 600 is so much. I mean, sorry. $1,000 I think is kind of obscene for signatures. Just because at that point, that would be a book that if I paid $1,000 to get signed, I'd have to sell it, and I'd have to get $1,000 at least for it, and that's probably not going to happen. That's just my thought process on it. You know what I mean? Even if it is those two, like I don't know what would be more. I think to have like a movie prop or something would be something that's more valuable to have them sign like in that way. So it's like, all right, I can make my money back off this easy. But $1,000, like that's really steep. Let's see what other people are saying. So He Who Remains says, I won't pay for actors. I just don't see the value. Maybe I'm wrong and just don't see it. I can agree with you on that one. It depends. It depends on the actor. It depends on what it is, and how it's going to help out whatever you're getting signed if you're trying to sell it at some point. Sometimes though too, it's just like just for that experience, like, oh, I met this one. Like there's certain people that as a fan of these people, I would want to meet up. Just be like, oh, like I would 100% want to meet this person. Like I'll give you a great example. Kyle Weathers. I love Kyle Weathers. I think Kyle Weathers is amazing. I'm actually sad that there was never a Rocky comic or anything having to do with Apollo Creed, because I would absolutely get an Apollo Creed comic signed by Kyle Weathers. No second questions, no nothing. I don't care. I'll get that in a second. But there's other celebrities that will charge a lot of money, and it's tough to justify it. It really is, because it's very expensive. Lady Fantastic was saying that she'd rather have creative signatures. She says, but I sure as heck would turn down a Mace Windu comic signed by Samuel L. Jackson. Exactly. just because of the fact that Samuel L. Jackson he's on there. Like, imagine a Nick Fury signed by, like to have a Nick Fury comic signed by Samuel L. Jackson, but one with his likeness. You know what I mean? Like an Ultimate Nick Fury or something of that nature. Or, I mean, the Avengers. The photo covers that they all did. Now that right there is good. To get signed. Like, I mean, the Scarlett Johansson and Black Widow cover, absolutely, you get that signed, just because I mean, it's a great image, and on top of that, her signature just makes it pop. The Thor photo cover, yeah, you get that signed because it just looks good. The Blade photo cover that they did, for when the movie came out, if you meet Wesley Snipes, you have to get that signed by Wesley Snipes. Unfortunately, he's going to probably charge you a lot of money for it, though. That's really the tough part. Let's see. Chef, who posed the question in the first place, said, I can see Marvel releasing photo variants of the two characters close to when the Deadpool 3 movie comes out. Maybe. I could see that. Lady Fantastic is actually, so then she says, or a comic, was it Terminator comic signed by Arnold? I think that would be that would be incredible, because and Arnold Schwarzenegger's signature, you're talking probably at least like $2,000 just to meet the man. Like, so something like that would be incredible. I think that meeting celebrities is definitely a tough sell for a lot of people, just because of how expensive it can be. I know, Peter Cullen came, and I'm a huge Transformers fan, and Peter Cullen was Optimus Prime. So I'm just like, I gotta meet Optimus Prime. It was gonna be $200 to have him sign something. I was like, I can't pay. I'm not spending that much money to have him sign my Transformers #1. Even though some people be like, oh, but it's Peter Cullen. Like, yeah, but it's Peter Cullen. Like, I mean, let's be real here. It's a voice actor who's done the role forever. He's in a phenomenal Optimus Prime. He is Optimus Prime as far as the voice is concerned. Doesn't matter, whatever it is. Even if you're playing with toys as a kid, you'll do your best Peter Cullen impression of Optimus Prime. But $200 for him to sign that is a lot of money. That's just my thoughts. But then again, like I have, I don't know. I can't. I'm going to try to say this and not sound. There's no way I can say it and have it not sound the way it is, or the way it's going to sound. But I have always been a fan of Christina Ricci. Now, not.
She's at Dallas.
No way I can say it. Like,
she's at Dallas.
I think a year younger than her. So growing up, watching the first Addams Family movie, I was a young kid. The second Addams Family movie, though, oh my God, she was amazingly gorgeous in that movie. And I was I was hooked on her from that point on. So if I did meet her, absolutely, I'd be like, yes, just to be able to say like, oh, can you sign this and get a chance to meet her? I'd do that in a second. But it also depends on the price. If she's like, it'll be $2,000 to talk to me, like, I am not talking to you. I'll just
she's actually reasonable. I can actually tell you prices. If I did, you'd probably be like, "Oh man, I should have sent you something." But I'll go give me something. I wanted to answer a couple of questions. My wife was yelling, everybody's yelling. I don't know. You probably answered it, but there is value depending on the actors. It could be a lot of value depending on the actors. Like the Clone Wars voice actors, they have more value than the creators of that comic. That's just 100% fact. Rosario Dawson, I think, adds to that because she plays the live action, and not just that. I think she's just starting to do the con scene. She really hasn't done that before. She didn't do it when they did a lot of stuff with Clerks. She just starting to do it now.
Yeah.
So certain people do add a lot of value.
Yeah.
But I'm a fan of those certain people. That's just, like my Clone Wars 1 and 2. I have 2 of the number 2s. I'm getting it signed by all those voice actors because I know what it adds to the value. So I'm definitely gonna get that. He said I went and got so he said
no, I'm not talking about. I'm just laughing. He said because I know what he's talking about. I'm being judged for saying that, like, since I was probably like 12 years old, I had a crush on on Christina Ricci. I don't care. she was gorgeous back in the day. She still is.
So
Even though I'm
yeah,
happy right now,
and what Lady was talking about, like Samuel Jackson, which he signed stuff before, and Arnold, which he's definitely signed stuff before.
yes.
See, like I said, it kind of answers he remains kind of thing. Certain actors
Wow.
add a lot of value, So I wouldn't just get anybody. You know what I mean? That's just me.
Yeah.
He said a few years ago, Sigourney, before COVID, and it was charged $500 just for signing a photo. Now now I'll say that is high. If it,
Yes.
let me see.
But you got to think though, it's also Sigourney Weaver because
Yeah,
as much as people
yeah.
want to be like, I don't know, they do. Sigourney Weaver is definitely somebody that I would say,
And she's a lot older
depending
too.
on, well, she's older, but it's just like depending on what you're getting signed. I mean, like if you have that Dark Horse first appearance of Aliens and you get it signed by her, that's gonna make a difference. Like that. That's really gonna be,
Yeah,
something that's gonna help.
she put Aliens on the map before the comic.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it was
Aliens was her movie
in the
before that. So
80s, huh? It was in the 80s, and then the comic came out in the 90s, right?
well, yeah, the first one was 79, I think. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was like late 70s, early 80s, and then comics came out in the 90s. So it's just like, but yeah, you get her to do that, like that would be crazy. I mean, even
Yeah.
if you had a Ghostbusters comic and how, like, especially if there's one with a picture of her,
Because
or one
the
that has like,
Ghostbusters one came out before the comic.
oh, I think yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
I had a short in my
Yeah.
headset. But yeah, Sigourney Weaver, I understand
mean,
that. You
she's
could,
a
but
celebrity
that's something you can budget for. That's something you can budget.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's something you could budget for. Christian
Yeah.
Haydenson, he's going to be at Dallas, but he's only going to be there
Yep.
for Saturday, and he's limited on how many stuff he's doing. He's charging a pretty penny, depending on what you're getting signed. Like he has different levels of different stuff you can get signed. I think the cheapest level is like $100 and something, but it's like something really basic. Like when I say really basic, but if it's like a Funko Pop comic, poster, like the price goes like in the 200s. Like it goes high, a lot higher. And he's the big guest of the bunch. So it's like Chris Evans. I remember when he came to New Orleans when they were doing Civil War. They had almost the whole cast of Civil War missing Robert Downey Jr. It's like they're only missing like two main people, maybe three main people, because it wasn't I don't think Samuel in that movie. I don't know if Samuel Jackson was in the movie, but they didn't have. I know they didn't have Robert Downey Jr. and a few others, but Chris Evans was like I think was $500 to get something signed. I was like, I didn't budget for Chris Evans, so I didn't get nothing signed for him, but I did get Anthony Mackie. I got the Russo brothers actually did free signings. They just had a cutoff point. So, like, if you got in the line and you didn't get cut off, you're good. You're going to get there. They're going to stay until, like, if they said 500 people, they're going to sign every 500 person stuff for free. And if you didn't have anything, they gave a free poster, and it was a pretty decent sized poster for Civil War.
See, that's cool.
And and something like that. Since they signed for free, I let them personalize it. I was like, yeah definitely. First, like, you signed it for free, and they put a quote. It was like, they put "Hail Hydra," and guess what? I didn't know what that meant until you saw like the Winter Soldier movie, and you see the little like that was a little play in their movie, and I didn't realize. I thought it was like, why did they put "Hail Hydra"? And it's like, that's why they did it. So, but I got Anthony Mackie, I got Frank Gallo, who played
he was Crossbones.
I got Anthony Mackie, and I'm trying to think, and I think I got the Russos, and then they had Chris Evans, which I was like, I'm not gonna pay for Chris Evans. So that's all I did. That's all I did for those. Now if any one of those actors who played in that movie come down at a reasonable price, I'll probably add to the signatures on that thing, but I'm not going to pay $500 or $250. It just depends on how my budget works, and that's the thing. And so I said, I heard Tom Holland is out. That's right. No, he's not out. I don't know where
Yeah,
you heard that from. We kind of touched about that, but the other news, which we didn't mention because it was already in the works, was they're working on Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland and
yeah.
what's her name? Uh, the girl in the movie. I can't think of her name. But they're in pre-production for Spider-Man 4.
Oh,
So
Zendaya.
Zendaya and Tom Holland. They're like the producer who we was talking about earlier did mention Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland and Zendaya. So
Yeah.
I don't know where
I
you
don't
heard
think
that
he's not.
from.
I think people are jumping the gun on that one just because, like,
Yeah.
I think people figure that he wants to be out because he wants to do other stuff. But I don't think he's. I mean,
I don't think he's gonna be out yet because he's making he's gonna end up
exactly.
making like
Until
$100
they
to $200 million
once they start
from these
telling him
movies.
all that money, that's why I learned was like, oh, how come this? And it was funny because what's it called? Actually, Ludacris had a moment just like this, and it was like where somebody asked him, how come like when are you gonna stop making these Fast and Furious movies? Which I found funny because Michelle Rodriguez kind of came and threw some shade at my like, come on, guys, how many Marvel movies you gonna make? I mean, really, I mean, how many more superhero movies can you do? And I mean, it's getting ridiculous. It's like, dude,
She's saying that because nobody asked her to be in one. That's why she said
exactly. It's just like she was mad because she didn't get to be Gamora. But the thing I say is that, like, you look back at Fast and Furious, that shit came out in 1999. That shit's been out for 25 fucking years, man. And then the last one, they sent the car to fucking space. I didn't even. I just thought I heard.
Yeah, not the current one, but the one before that. Yeah, the one before that. They did.
And I
did go to space.
Yeah, and I just sat there and I seen someone on Instagram talking shit about it. I was like, no way. So I looked it up on YouTube. I was like, and I'm watching it. They really had it set to rocket boosters. They fucking and it goes out. And
I'll say it like this: I seen the last one and I seen the current one. The current one that just came out is better than the last one.
Wow, the way
as far as the acting and it's a lot of stupid stuff. A lot of stupid stuff happened, but it's like
let's be real. It stopped being about racing a long time ago. When you're sending cars to space, I mean, or like you're taking cars down. I'm sorry, you're taking planes and helicopters down with cars and everything else. It's like, come on, man. It's like at this point, it's very much changed from what it first started out being. So the thing that I say is that, but like Ludacris's response though was smart because someone asked him the exact same thing. Like, well, how come you guys are still making these movies? He's like, that's one of the dumbest questions I've ever heard. He's like, we make money. He's like, dude, like the last movie we made over a fucking $1 billion. Are you serious? Of course we're gonna keep making these movies because people keep on watching them. Are you out of your mind?
It's not just that. How their contracts work, they didn't sign a 25 picture deal like Marvel makes people sign now. They signed basically one movie deals, and guess what? Every movie, their value has gone up. The budget for this movie is ridiculous, but guess what? Majority of the budget is actually actor costs. A lot of people, like I think their budget, like let's say that for example, their budget is $300 million. 150 million, I think, is the actors. Yeah. I hate to say it because they get raises and they get a lot of money because that's how the contract is for them to come back.
Absolutely. So it's 100% too much money for someone to walk away from.
Yeah, so that's why I kind of talk about Tom Holland. It's the same thing with them. Yeah. It's too much money for them to walk away.
Tom can want to do other stuff, but I can tell you right now, it's like, yeah, I want to be in this movie. I want to make a movie about this. I want to make a movie about that. That's perfectly fine. You can do that in between shooting these Spider-Man movies.
Tom Holland's money is going to be
million for this movie.
Robert Downey Jr. money at the end of Secret Wars.
Yeah.
He's probably going to make $75 million from Secret Wars, and he's probably only going to be at 20% of Secret Wars. Just to let people know that. So Tom Holland's going to be at least Spider-Man up through Secret Wars. That's my opinion. That's my guess because he's gonna be signing on like 2 picture deals, and every time he re-ups is gonna be higher. And then the Avengers deal, guess what? The Avengers deal that he ends up in the Avengers movie, that's gonna be a percentage payment. He's gonna get like 1% of the box office, and if they make $1 billion, 1% is still a lot of freaking money.
Oh, that's a ton of money. And the thing that's
crazy
1%
is what? What's 1%? 10 million? Or is it
Yeah,
Yeah,
of a
take 10
billion,
million.
that's $10 million.
Yeah, so and that's not including his $20 million probably payment. So
Yeah.
he's gonna get like 30 million for a movie. He's not like the main focus. Like that's what's gonna be crazy. And
Well, and that's the funniest part about the whole thing is just like, you go back to looking at just all that, like all right, why, even if you want to do, let's say, if you owned a pizza shop and it was like, I'm only doing this for a little while, like, I kind of want to get out there and do other things, whatever else, but then your pizza shop becomes the most, most popular pizza in the city, then it becomes the most popular pizza in the state, and it's just like, what I mean, it's gonna keep, it's just like you got to keep on making them goddamn pizzas because people keep on giving you tons of money to do it. It's just like,
and
oh,
guess what? And a lot of those places that I've seen the Barstool guy, because he goes to a lot of pizza, he gives the pizza reviews.
oh yeah,
Places that are really popular have limited hours. They're
yeah,
so popular that they don't want to make that much money. That's how bad it is when they get that
yes,
popular. Because he's going to places like, yeah, we open at 4. Like, wait, what? So y'all not open for lunch? So no, we open at 4, or they might be like, oh, we open at 6, and we only open for a couple hours. Like, what?
they did
So
that.
you got to get your order in early, like at the beginning. If not, that's it. You're not gonna
Oh
make it.
yeah,
You can't get it. And then the pizza's like a $30.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. So the guy, so they did a review with a guy that I actually like. He owned this shop where I live at. I went to high school with his brother. Like his brother was in the same grade as me. This guy was, I think, 1 or 2 years younger than me. So I think he graduated with my sister. And they sat there, they reviewed his pizza, like, oh, this. Now, before they reviewed that goddamn pizza, you can get a whole pizza for an affordable price of maybe like, $12, something like that. This motherfucker, after going on there and saying like, "Oh, this pizza is great. This is delicious. I can't believe this," it ended up being like something like $5 a slice. And if you want a whole pizza, like you said, it's like $30 for a whole pizza because they don't want to do that anymore. They just want to do by the slice. I was like, that's some crazy shit. But that's what that did. It elevated him up. That's all it took. So
It just takes like good
that's how that
reviews,
Tom
social
Holland.
media, or whatever it is. But yeah, He Who Remains, I did mention that at the beginning. I did kind of talk about how they took the options away, and it's FedEx is
Well,
just bad. FedEx is
yeah,
just bad.
and
If
that's
you're not
how
using Express, or second day FedEx, is bad. Second day air or
it's tough.
whatever.
And the thing is that, I mean, we like we said, we talked about it before, but I would say, like, if you're, like I said before, if you're supposed to be the standard bearer, you got to make it easier for your customers to work with you. You shouldn't be somebody who's like, oh, we're gonna just do it like this, and this is the only way we're willing to do it, and then absolve yourself if the experience isn't good. You can't do that. You have to take responsibility, or you should.
Yeah, and a lot of those like UPS and FedEx, they really don't deliver everywhere. But
No,
guess who does deliver everywhere if you have a mailing address? The United States Postal Service.
yep,
So I didn't understand them taking that option away. I could understand you like, oh, you made a deal with FedEx, but that should only eliminate UPS. But how do you eliminate the government, the post office?
yeah.
So I don't want to get
Well,
back into that, but yeah, but the budgeting, to go back to the budgeting to end it. This when you're budgeting for a con, this pre-plan, know what you're gonna spend, stay to that limit, and if you worry about stuff, don't bring the credit card, just bring the cash.
yeah,
Just bring the cash,
exactly.
and and then you don't have to worry about nothing, because you'll be good. If you're going to buy a book or you're going to do a trade, like you just plan what you're going to do each day and stick to those plans, and you kind of your budget will be fine. And if kind of life throws you a curveball, that's different, But if you're just playing ahead, just like when you're buying a comic or a more expensive comic, I think you can do it for a convention. Um, and just go have fun. Cons are supposed to be having fun, meeting people, hanging out with people. I'm excited to talk about my experience with Yahweh and Tony, and hopefully we take some videos and pictures. So I know a lot of times when you're hanging out, you kind of forget to do all that. Uh, so uh, that's I can't wait to like talk about the experience. But I'll be getting actors and actresses to sign stuff. I don't think I'm gonna do any photo ops. I would love to do some photo ops with a couple of people, but I'm gonna meet that person with the signature, and I think that meeting them and getting to say hello and is gonna be good enough.
Yeah.
Because I would love to get a picture with Christina Ricci or Rosario Dawson,
Um,
or that, and
yeah.
I'm just that's just some of the people I'm naming.
You know what the tough part too with that
But
picture shit is that they're taking a selfie on your own phone and they can charge you money for it. It's like,
but no, that's if you do it at the table. But if you do it at which a lot of them are doing now, the photo op, you're getting a printed photo.
I
And
don't need that.
if you want specific stuff, they charge you extra. So say if you want an email like a JPEG sent to you as well, $10
Oh
more.
no,
I just looked at it. You want that picture framed? $25. I don't even know if the frame's good.
nope.
If you want to
I
get
just
an
want to be able to
extra
put it
print, if you
on.
want to get an extra print, it's $10 more.
Nope, I'm good. I'm good.
So,
I would if like I will say this much. In anticipation of her coming to Boston, I am hoping to score an Adams Family #1 just because I looked at like some Wednesday Adam comics. Like newer ones that came out and they're very risque. And I'm like, yeah, I can't show her this. I'm like, hey, sign this thing for me. It's not even you on there. It's Jenny Ortega. I was like, that's kind of fucked up. But no, if I can get an Adams Family #1 though, I bet here, I want you to sign this. This would be cool because you're Wednesday Adams, so you sign this, cool.
Yeah,
And
and
then,
if an artist wants to take an idea, and this would be a good book you could do signature, eventually get signatures on. It was split where they're both standing, both characters. You got Jenny Ortega's Wednesday, you got Christina's Ricci's Wednesday. Basically,
yeah,
like they're looking in the mirror, but they're side by side, so you can see both of their faces.
yeah.
Artist, there you go. You do that, it'll sell out first of all,
Ooh.
and then people would buy. Then Christina Ricci's going to the concert, so people are going to get it signed for that. And then whenever, or Ortega, whenever she does eventually get burnt out and does some signs,
Yeah.
then people can get it double signed. But that's an idea for artists. There you go. Thank you.
Actually,
If I see it come up like months later, then I'm gonna be like, oh, somebody was watching the show.
All right, I did #2, and this I will 100% say. It's called, if you steal this from me, I'll be sad. Meaning, honestly, if you steal it, I'll be sad, just because it's a good goddamn idea and it's going off of his. So I like his idea. However, because people like doing cover homages, you can get two. So if you do, you could do just two covers for the same thing, the Demon in a Bottle, the Iron Man 128, and then but you flip it. So on one hand, it's Christina Ricci looking, so it's Christina Ricci holding the. You can do Wednesday holding the bottle. Sorry, Wednesday. You could do Jenny Ortega holding the bottle, and it's Christina Ricci's face. That's why she's like, and then on the other side, the back of Christina Ricci, and then it's Jenny Ortega looking through. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
That's my thought. If you're gonna try to print a bunch of books and you want to have good printed incentives, like, oh, these would be cool for some 1 in 25s. Don't make them 125, make them 1 in 10s. But 1 in 25 or one,
they're gonna do that. They're gonna be exclusives and they're gonna be limited to like 500, $29.
There you go.
A piece. $29,
and that's how you do.
So yeah, that'd actually be some good ideas. So I don't know if anybody has any other questions while we're in here, but yeah, man, it's a good little kind of good chat, kind of chatting it up. Sorry I had to keep jumping back on and off, but yeah, I'm excited about the convention coming up. My first out of state convention, hopefully in 2024. I'm hopefully this kind. I want to say hopefully Dallas is actually really good because the plan is to do Dallas again with Tone and Yahweh. As long as it's good and our experience is good, I think us three are definitely going to go there again. And whoever else wants to join us can join. Next year, I'm going to try to add one convention. So I'll probably do 3 conventions. I'm probably going to try to go to Heroes Con. As long as it doesn't fall the weekend after Dallas like it does this year. It got to give me at least a 2-week window. At least a 2-week. A month would be better, but at least a 2 week window, like we back to back is tough.
It's tough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so because I probably if the budgeting is that's the part that's tough. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
so we'll see how that works. If I can do MegaCon, not next year, 'cause I already looked at the dates. The dates are not good. That's a convention I would love to bring my family. The MegaCon's in
Mhm.
Orlando. If people don't know, what's in Orlando? You got Disney and you got Universal Studios. So I'd love to do. I would if that can work out where it's like for us, it's we have a Mardi Gras break. If that could fall around that Mardi Gras break, the weekend before or the weekend after, like whatever weekend could fall on one of those weekends. I'm definitely 100% going because I want to make that like a family trip. I can go to convention in a few days. We can go to one of the parks and vice versa. But the plan is Heroes, long as the dates are good, so people are going to those things. Just be on the lookout. But New Orleans Fan Expo, I'm definitely going. I don't know if Yahweh's going to make his way back down again. Anybody else who wants to come down to New Orleans, man, it's a good little time. I would say come at least a couple days ahead, and then you can see the city. Then go to the convention, then leave on Monday. So come
Mm.
down on Wednesday, see the city Wednesday and Thursday, um, and then yeah, that's my thoughts on that. So, well, Chris, you got anything going on you want to talk about? I know we're gonna talk about the hunt. So
Yeah. Well, the
this
hunt's
is
on
it.
Friday.
Unless you want to talk anything, to say anything else about cons or anything. But
No, I think we kind of hit everything. I mean, I think that I mean, budgeting is definitely the most important thing to do, to make sure that you're all set. Just because as long as the writer strike stays on, you may see more celebrities getting involved in the cons because they don't have anything to do. So
mm-hmm.
so just make sure that you're not just overextending yourself. But other than that, I mean, I think we kind of hit every real big point on it. So just and above all, I say have fun. Like don't turn into the whatnot vultures that went crazy during New York Comic Con. Because none of those people was having a good time. The ones that were screaming for tech support were not having a good time at all. They were very angry. So make sure you have some fun. And other than that, though, for me, we had the hunt on Friday, and then just for me, I don't really have anything coming up just right now. Just because like I said, I'm kind of just getting ready for Terrificon, which is down the road a little bit, but just kind of just getting all that together, getting ready, and just kind of figuring out and planning on that. But I will, definitely be on the hunt, be hanging out on different places. Bleaka's show on Sundays. I pop in there and have some fun. I think you and Bleaka, do you have a sale coming up Saturday? Or
So
coming up on that?
as long so for me, like you said, hunt is the probably the first thing
Yep.
on the next coming up playlist, or we want to say. So we got the hunt this Friday.
Yes.
So definitely come tune in for that. It's always fun. Um, Saturday night is the plan for me and Bleaker Sale on Instagram. So if you want to follow this on Instagram, we're gonna have a sale on there. I have 15 new slabs, which I will unbox on YouTube, so you can see it here first.
Hey, a preview.
And but I think 11, yeah, 11 out of the 15 are definitely going to be up for sale immediately.
Nice.
4 of them I don't know if I might resubmit, just letting you know, because they kind of jipped me. Well, actually, no, it's actually more than that. So 10 are definitely going to be for sale. 5 probably are not immediately for sale. But things could change. Things could change. So, but yeah, I'll be for sale this Saturday on I shouldn't say my IG, because when you go live with people, especially both of you guys,
Yeah,
so
it's a
be on
combination.
IG, yeah, combination. So it'll be claim sale. Offers will be welcome for the claims, but claims that come first. And I, if anybody's wondering about that, so got some really, really nice stuff, some really good keys and really good prices. Anything that doesn't sell, I'm going to take pictures of, send to Elite Comics 11, and then send to Shortbox. That's how I'll probably go. It'll probably be simultaneously Shortbox and whatnot. I'm Elite Comics 11. So definitely send those offers when you see that come up. I'll do that unboxing.
Absolutely.
Sunday, I'll probably be on Sands' auction for at least a couple of rounds. It's hard for me to hang late now since I'm waking up early a lot for work. But that'll be my last. That Sunday will be. I won't be on for a couple of weeks after that. So I'll be doing something Saturday, and then I'll probably do at least 1 or 2 rounds Sunday. So
yeah,
that's all I got, man. Next time we do
a good one.
Yeah. Next time when we do this show, we should have JPG McFly, Mr. The Spider-Man booth himself, talking about his comic. Like I said, the Whatnot game, Spider-Man. But I really want to know more. I want to ask more stuff about Spider-Man booth and his comic, and let him talk about that more so than Whatnot. So that's what we'll probably have next time. I'm gonna touch base with JP McSore because I didn't get in touch with him for a little recently. So hopefully we hear back from him on that. And then, like literally 2 months from now, it'll be Ali from Elite Comics 11, and I think I'm really looking forward to that show. So I told him I want to do this, get more in tune of doing this, and I want to wait a couple more months because he's like, hey man, when you gonna have me on your show? Blah blah blah. And I said, me and my boy Chris are trying to get more get more acclimated and get more people, because I told him a lot more people watch this on the rewind than live. I said we get a bigger turnout for rewind, so I want to get a little bit more people live. If we can get 15 people live. I know they got auctions, and a lot of you guys like the auctions, but I want to get that so you can ask him questions as well, even if it is with the Elite Comics.
So because it's good to know how all that stuff works,
Yeah, so hopefully, if you guys are watching this, when that time comes, you guys show up. I know we've had like 12 plus before. I think with D-Ronk, we had a good turnout.
We had a great
turnout. And I think with Bleecker as well. So, definitely be on tune for that. So, because then you've got questions, I want you guys to ask them. But that's all we got, man. I do appreciate everybody. I have my little list of stuff what I paid for in grades for these books that are coming back, and I'll just let people know this. I think it's not a bad roller coaster. It's like I think it's going to be a okay and good roller coaster. That's what I think. Because with Dustin grades he gave me, it gotta be decent. So. That's it, man. I appreciate everybody. He Who Remains, Chef, Lady Fantastic, Hawaiian Punch. Who else was in here?
Matt C's.
Matt, K-pop, Geeky Dad, who stopped through and said hello. Cali Comics, Cali and Zach B. Appreciate all. Kenneth as well.
Bird.
Yeah, so thank you guys for stopping through. Please leave a thumbs up. If you watch it on the rewind and you have questions for JP from Spider-Man booth, put them in this video or send them to me or Chris on IG, so we can ask them, because it's not going to be a really, well, what are you doing, JP? Let us know. It's not one of those interviews. It's going to be almost like a hangout interview. But if you guys have questions, definitely ask them, Chef. This will be a question to remind us to ask him, Chef, because I think he would know. He would know because he, since he's kind of like the Whatnot publishing stuff with his comic. So definitely, Chef, when we do that show, I would say that's a good question to ask him. But on that note, it's been over an hour and a half. We had a fun time. And hopefully next show I can show you a sketch or two. Something, but I'll talk about my experience next time after from Dallas. So peace, everybody. See y'all guys later.